yeah, I can't be negligent to acknowledge the fact that, you know what I'm saying, yeah, there are certain demands for certain questionable substances, you know, illicit substances. But for as much as there is a demand, therein lies justification, be it loosely and not actually legislated. There is justification for as long as there is a demand. And if that demand does indeed come from a certain ethno-specific demographic, then there is no question to whether the cocaine will come into the, you know, this country. There will be cocaine. If they want cocaine, like in France, let them have cocaine. For instance, let them have cocaine. Let them have cocaine. Who am I to restrain their frames from cocaine? If they want cocaine, by all means, let them have cocaine to ease their pain. Because candy is dandy. Candy is dandy. But I choose otherwise. There are too many other things to do besides cocaine. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, like I say, you know, it's almost like there's a whole economy behind it, and I wouldn't speak on it no more than just to elaborate and elucidate upon the fact that yeah, there is a certain laxness and looseness to what we call a border. If there's no water, then there's no border. The water be the border. If there be water, then there's a border. And if there's no water, then there's no border. And therein is where the conflict lies. But I will say as much that if the government there feels that to restrain them would tax their municipalities, then by all means, let us take the brunt of that upon ourselves. I shall not argue with that anymore. I'll let it be what it is until otherwise. And when it gets to a certain point where certain pages of that basic instruction before leaving Earth, you know what I'm saying, become evident, then hey, it is what it is. But I mean, I will say that in times where starvation may be on the horizon, cocaine does kill the appetite. So who am I to choose anyone's method of suppressing their appetite? Who am I? Who am I? I'm just a pawn. Like Killer Priest said, who am I? I'm just a pawn. I'm merely a pawn. I'm merely an amalgamation and conglomeration of wonderful words that I hold dear and that I would never ever utter if I did not deem them to be true. With that being said, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. So, and then too, like I say, we're getting to a certain point where that ain't gonna work. People are debating whether the central bank digital currency is going to work. It's got to work. It's got to work because it will guarantee everyone gets what they need. It means that you won't starve. You won't starve. And it's basically a restructuring of our method of paying credit back based upon that post-Thanksgiving holiday called Black Friday. It is an official holiday for as much as it's an economic rebound. That is the end of the fiscal year, which means that that's when we're able to pay at least a few pennies upon the millions or billions of trillions that we owe. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we got what? We got a line of credit from other countries that, you know what I'm saying, we owe money. And the reason why those things are liquidated or, you know, the price reduces because it's like, look, if we have these items on the shelf and consumers aren't buying them, we're not paying our debts. And 9 times out of 10, that money is going right back from where they imported it from anyway. They don't make that stuff here. And so it is a mercy and a grace that we are able to even have that as an option. But when someone brings to the table and says, hey, you can have whatever you need, just let me make sure that what you're asking for is not in excess. What's that song? I'm not gonna say it. No, I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, you can have whatever you like, but it must be a necessity. It might be free electricity. It might be free anything, but it most definitely will not be cocaine. It won't be cocaine, because like I said, certain countries endured the Boxer Rebellion when opium was encouraged. They encouraged certain farmers to cultivate opium, and it destroyed the people. So if no one else knows, they know. And Great Britain did that. Great Britain was like, yo, we will provide you protection with our Navy under the stipulation that you provide this crop for us, these opium poppy seeds consistently. And then when they chose to stop doing it because it took such a detrimental toll upon the people's health and their mind states, they had opium dens everywhere, they said no. And then it wasn't much later that they went under the umbrella of Russia. Russia was there. Like, Russia will have to be here now, because that alliance is the connection to the gas. So you have to accept it. To deny the central-bank digital currency is like saying, well, I don't want no gas. See, because it's not a necessity to me, but for some people, they gotta have gas. So that link to Russia is your gas, because Mohammed bin Salman said what? He said, I'm not taking anything other than gold. He said, you can have $100 billion. You can't even buy a gallon of gas from me, because your dollar is worthless. It's worthless. You're in hyperinflation. We're printing money, and the money is being spent on cocaine, which means it's going out of the country. It takes 4 cents. The Bureau of Engraving is going out. So the excuse is that the money is contaminated, but that's not what it is. They don't want to tell people, hey, you can't get cocaine. They don't want to tell them that, because a lot of the corporations are basically owned by that. So it's almost like the government is broke. The government is broke. They're being subsidized by corporations who have subsequently been the cocaine dealers own that shit. In the early 80s, Michael J. Fox, the suit to my success. All these bumpies and yuppies getting rich, and their cocaine tabs went sky high to the point it was like, hey, I can't even pay the daggone Wolves of Wall Street. I can't even pay the daggone cocaine dealer. I tell you what, man, give me your corporation. Just give me the whole corporation, and I'll still keep you supplied. And then that's when the credit had been maxed out. Inflation, hyper. It was over then. It was over. At that point in time, we were floating on little boats made out of dollar bills that had no value. You know what I'm saying? Little boats made out that had no value. So with that being said, excuse me. So with that being said, so with that being said, it's pretty much, you know, why we are where we are now. You know what I'm saying? That's why we are where we are now. Because of the cocaine. That cocaine. See what I'm saying? There's nothing to gain with cocaine. Think about it. Think about it. They leave there to come here. Why? Why don't they take the cocaine money and enrich where they are? Because it don't work like that. It destroys wherever it is. Wherever it goes, it dilapidates and destroys. That's just what it does. Mexico don't want it. They're like, we don't want it. They're like, yo, we're not gonna hold them. They will fill up our jails and prisons. It sounds like a story that I read or heard by the NOI. They're like, man, they're filling our jails and prisons up. Our best bet is just let them go and create whatever they're gonna create. Something new. Melt them down in the melting pot. Melt down the ores. The ores. Row, row, row your boat, you baby. Row your boat. Float your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat, baby. roll, roll, roll. Just say, yeah, baby, roll me down and roll me. And do it raw and roll me. Roll me and roll me. Oh no. So as I see it right now, it's pretty much a situation where as the plot thickens, and the plot it should thicken should be the plot of all these large pieces of land that they should plant, you know, food on. You know? But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna say this much too before my space runs out. There are resources, but to be honest, it is not for the public sector, it's for the private sector of the military. They have what they need. They always will. Like the movie Planet Terror, they had a gas. They was like, we don't really have a cure for this thing, like the COVID, but we have actually commandeered the supply, which is tentatively, it works only just a little bit, you know, and it wears off. And so with that being said, they're willing to deal with whatever pops up. And that's laudable. I actually can appreciate that. I can't argue anymore. I can't argue. You know what I'm saying? Like Cannabis said, he said, I'm just flexing with weapons off the government's money. Hey, they paying for it. You know what I'm saying? If they give me a rocket launcher, hey, I'm having target practice. That's the budget they gave me. And that's the largest part of our budget. See what I'm saying? Which means that if things won't grow in America, I go take over a country where it does grow. You see what I'm saying? If I have the weapons for it, then why not? There's nothing here in America no more. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. We have what's called laissez-faire. We import more than we export. No one wants anything that we have. Well, we do have one commodity. Piel de Blanco. That's all we got. Piel de Blanco. And they want that. Everybody wants that. It's called the Mirar de Animales. And I'm not arguing with it. Hey, it's almost like if you ain't never had a piece of that pie, that American pie, then right now is the best time to get you some of that American pie. Some of that, slice that American pie. See what I'm saying? Everybody wants it. Everybody wants to know what it's like. Cause cocaine, it's the exact well, it ain't no opposite. It's the American dream. You gotta be asleep to enjoy it. And it's not real. And the ones who've had it, they're like, yo, I don't want this shit. This is bullshit. That's why they let it go. You know, my man say, yo, I got all this. Man, I'm gonna go buy some cocaine, man. This is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go buy some cocaine. And then they give it all away. Like, you know, the man who sold the world, like, yo, I had all this. And it was still nothing. So he's like, man, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so the ones that he sold it to, they have never had it. They're like, yo, we see him living the way he's living, and we want to live that way. But he ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're enamored by a dream. It's not real. It's nothing. But everybody wants a try at it. I mean, if it appeals to you and it tempts you that much, hey, have at it. But it's nothing. Anybody that's ever had it can tell you it's nothing. If you never had it, then you might think it's something. But if you've had it, you're like, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing new under the sun. For as long as it's under the sun, before they rain nuclear radiation. Because Trump already said, he already said that if y'all don't reelect me, then you're facing World War III. Because Melania Trump is Putin's niece. And right now, he's going to wrap this Ukraine war up in about a couple of weeks. It's going to be wrapped up. It's done. It don't even matter. It's already over. So right now, it's going to, I don't even know where diplomacy stands. There's always room for diplomacy. But I can't guarantee anything in terms of what I'm saying. I try to stay, you know, something there, but I don't know. You know, what I do know is that he cut off 80% of fuel to Europe. And those are his neighbors. And the whole reason why he attacked Ukraine is he was like, they're going to join NATO. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization. He's like, if they join NATO, then that gives the U.S. access to look over into our backyard. So he's like, they cannot be a window for the U.S. to look at, you know what I'm saying? And they just dumped a bunch of fuel. Russia dumped some fuel on a U.S. drone. That was in their airspace. Why was it in their airspace? All I can say is that, hey, they didn't knock it down. They just dumped fuel. Like, hey, I didn't see it there. I just dumped fuel on it. Hey, I didn't know. I didn't know it was there. See what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, I mean, it just is what it is. You know, my job is to stay out the way. That's my job. My job is to stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? Like dodgeball. You know what I'm saying? Just stay out the way. That's all I do. Stay out the way. So yeah, it's looking kind of funny because I mean, like right now, and I'm not gonna call no names, but some people are ready though for that gold standard. I'm saying, like, you know, Mohammed bin Salman, he has like what? It's, oh, I forgot. It's China. It's Russia, Iran. It's like 7 of them, and they're all economically, you know, fortified, nice and bound tight together, and it looks good. It looks good, and I won't complain because out of all that, it may seem with the offer of central bank digital currency, hey, chances are that I won't starve. But just in case, I got these packs of crackers.